I took a break from playing one JRPG to play another JRPG that's not nearly as good. Then again, very few things are. It's still pretty fun though, technological glitches aside. Pokémon Violet. About time we had a main series game that was purple. So we are now in Generation 9 of Nintendo and Game Freak's beloved Pokémon franchise. Man, I guess Gen 8 didn't last too long. So Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet introduce us to the Paldea region, which is based off the Iberian Peninsula, that is Spain and Portugal. You play as a young trainer, as always, except this time you're a student at this big academy, and you're sent off on what they call a treasure hunt. You're off to explore this region, and you're ultimately going to find your treasure. And that's pretty much it. After the intro, you can go anywhere and do whatever you want in the Paldea region. It's very open world, which I love about this game. But really, there are three big paths, three story paths that the game gives you. The first is the gyms. Like most other main series Pokemon games, you go to gyms, you get badges, eventually making your way to the Pokemon League, the Elite Four. That's one of the paths. Another is you're going in search of these Titan Pokemon, kind of like in Legends Arceus. These big, pretty much boss fights, and so you're going off in search of them. And lastly, we have Team Star. You're going to their bases and taking them on. So three different stories interspersed throughout the region in the game, and you can go after them in any order you want for the most part, which I really love. If I'm getting right into it, I love how open world this game really is. Like once you are sent off, they tell you like, all right, you can go this way or that way. I was like, wait, what? The game's not telling me to go to a certain place? That's new for a Pokemon game. And that really is how it feels at first. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go here. And the story of the game kind of conforms to what you want to do. Until ultimately you do realize that there are certain places you can't go unless you've done one thing first. Once I realized that, I was like, alright, so the story is not entirely non-linear. That did kind of bum me out. I wish it could have been just completely up to me, but I do understand. I'm not going to knock the game too hard for that. There is still a certain story that this game wants to tell, alright. Now as for the supporting characters, I do like them. I like some more than others. My favorite has got to be Nemona. I ended up really liking her a lot because she's always fired up, she always wants to battle. I love that spirit because I always wanted to be like, yeah, I'll battle you, bring it on. Sometimes that does lead to a battle, sometimes it doesn't. And then I realized that she's supposed to be the rival character. I never really saw her as a rival though. I mean, she challenges you every so often, but I never saw her as like an antagonist. She was always good friends with you. She just loves to battle, so she's not a rival. She is a great character though. She's the one who shows up during the Pokemon Gym storyline. Because that's really how it is. There are different characters that show up and help you out for each of the three storylines. Like Arvin, he's the one who shows up for the Titan storyline, and he actually ends up being really sympathetic. The reason he wants to search for these Titans is to help out his sick Pokemon partner. There's a thing that ties in with that, like an item he wants to find. I'm not going to spoil the game, just in case you haven't beaten it yet. But I sympathize. I was like, alright man, I'll help you out. He kind of comes off as a dick at first, but you warm up to him. And then there's Penny, who helps you out with the whole Team Star thing. And she's the one I cared least about. She's really shy, kind of awkward, and I guess I get it. But I don't know, I guess there was nothing really there for me to latch onto. Still not a terribly written character. I just definitely prefer Nemona. Getting back to it though, like I said, I just love how open world this game is. The landscapes are vast. You get around riding on the legendary mascot, who in this game is Miraidon. And with every Titan Pokemon you beat, a new ability is unlocked for Miraidon. Like at first, alright, you can go around, you kind of ride him like a bike. And then eventually you can glide around, you can go faster, you can go on water. That's the thing that's like, alright, now you can go to this area. It's all the Titan stuff. So if I had to give advice, I'd say do that storyline first. Or at least make it your top priority. But I do love exploring in this game. There's just so much to see and do. You're going up mountains, you see wild Pokemon everywhere. I'll get to that in a minute. Paldea is a pretty cool looking place. That is, if you can get past the glitches heard round the world. Yeah, if I'm just getting right into it, this game is full of bugs and terrible graphics. Oh my god. This is really what everyone's talking about when it comes to these new Gen 9 games. Cause yeah, like my first few hours of playing it, I was like, why does it look so bad? Like compared to the last few games like Legends Arceus and even Sword and Shield, they look better than Scarlet and Violet. Like you look around at even the blades of grass and you're like, is that really supposed to be grass? That looks horrible. The glitches really come through in the battle system. Like Legends Arceus, I love this. You can just go around, look at wild Pokemon, and choose to battle them or not. But then while you're battling them, sometimes things will show up that are just awkward. It's funny. It made me laugh. I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be that way. But man, oh man, these graphics need to be patched up fast. I really do feel like someone, Nintendo, Game Freak, whoever, was like in a rush to get this game out for the holidays. They were like, great, is the story done? Awesome. Oh, there's still glitches? Doesn't matter. The holiday season is coming up, we gotta get this game out. Doesn't matter that there are still glitches in the game. I really feel like they should have taken more time to tidy it up. Granted, for me personally, I'm not a graphics snob. Story and gameplay always comes first. I'm not gonna say a game is completely terrible if it's just the graphics that are bad. This game is still plenty fun to play, and I do like the story. I just have to point out that the graphics are a big problem here. One touch I really do love is that sometimes when you're out there in the wild, you'll see like families of wild Pokemon. Like for example, you'll see a bunch of little Litleos and then the mother Pyroar. And you can choose, you can be like, alright, I'm gonna battle the Pyroar and catch it and separate all these little cubs from their mother. I did that a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh wow, look at that, a strong Pokemon. I'm gonna go catch it. Sorry babies. Good luck surviving out there in the wild without your mother. I believe in you. I know it doesn't really matter, that's just the thought that went through my head. As for the new species of Pokemon in Generation 9, I actually love a lot of these designs. In fact, this has gotta be the most well-designed Pokemon generation in years. I don't think there's a single design that I really disliked. So props to the art team on these games. And when it came to putting together my team, I really just did it by ear. I mean, there's one Pokemon that I knew I wanted, because it's the one I always look for. But other than that, I just did it by ear. And when it came to the starters, my favorite design of all the little starters was the grass-type Sprigatito, because I thought the others were kind of mid, so I went with the Weed Cat. And then when it evolved, I was like, aw man, you just had to stand up on your hind legs, didn't ya? Yeah, that was a fear a lot of us had. Should've went with the Crocodile, because its final form looks really cool. Oh well. I do still love the team I have, though. Meowscarada, Flamigo, Hippowdon, Ceruledge, Palafin, and, who should I have for my electric type? That's a head scratcher. Ceruledge is great, just one hit from Bitterblade and they are out for the most part. Plus it gives back HP. It's a great move. Palafin is great, I love that design. Finally we have a dolphin Pokemon. Although evolving it from a Fennesin was kind of, I don't like that method. You had to connect online and connect with friends to evolve it. Nah. Granted, that's not the first time that a Pokemon game is like, alright, you want to evolve this? You gotta get social. But that's something I never liked anyway. I mean, I had no problem doing it, but what about the people who do? I just don't think that's quite fair. I'm just saying. Now in the battling system, we got a new mechanic. Gen 6 we had Mega Evolution, Gen 7 we had Z-Moves, Gen 8 we had Dynamax and Gigantamax. Now in Gen 9, we have what's called Terastallizing. You can turn your Pokemon into a crystallized version of itself with a weird thing on its head, and their type moves get stronger. Initially I thought it was just weird. Why do we gotta have Pokemon with weird looking hats on their head? But then I realized that it actually helps your strategy in a battle. Cause not only does Terastallizing boost your moves, but it also changes your type. Like for example, if Meowscarada is Grass Dark type and it Terastallizes, now it's only Grass type. The Dark type is gone, so now Fighting type moves are no longer super effective against it. Ah yeah, that really helps. So now I think Terastallizing is pretty cool. Except I still think some of the designs for the Terastallizing are pretty dumb. Like why does Flying type get balloons on its head? That's weird. That's just my opinion though. As for the legendary Pokemon in this game, there aren't a whole lot. I mean, the big main one is the one you have that you're riding on, the Miraidon, or Koraidon for Scarlet. And for most of the game, I was like, aw man. So we have another legendary that ends up joining your team for story-based reasons. No big frustrating battle trying to catch it, that's lame. However, this game does make up for that. It does give you a couple of legendary fights where you are frustrated trying to catch it. In fact, there are a few of those. So yes, you get the one main legendary who joins your team for story-based reasons. Don't worry, there are other legendaries out there who will have you ripping your hair out trying to catch them. So good on this game for that. Lastly, I'm gonna talk about the music. The music in this game overall is pretty cool, although I can't really think of one single track that I'd like above the rest. Actually, you know what? There is one track I do remember. It's the one where you're making sandwiches and that music. That track's pretty fun. Other than that though, I mean, it's alright. But what I love about the music in this game is that the ambient music that plays while you're just out roaming, it seemingly segues into battle music when you decide to battle something. The tracks are like in synchronization with each other. So you have like the calm ambient version of this melody, and then you have the upbeat battle version of it. That's really cool. I don't think a Pokemon game has ever done that before. So I gotta give all sorts of props to that, because that was awesome. Also, I love how the gym battle music, it kept the crowd chanting from Sword and Shield that I like so much. It's also in this game. Love that touch, it's great. So in the end, Pokemon Violet is pretty cool. The main story didn't blow my mind as much as Legends Arceus's did. There are a couple of cool plot twists in there, and the final boss is pretty neat. but compared to other Pokemon stories out there, there are ones that are more mind-blowing in my opinion. I love the open world, I love roaming around on Miraidon, battling is really fun as per usual. I like the characters, I like the music, just the graphics and the glitches really do stick out like a sore thumb here. Seriously, they really need to fix those. I hope they do. I don't know if they will. It does make me fear for future installments, not gonna lie. But still a solid, reliably fun Pokemon game. It's definitely worth playing, that's for certain. So Pokemon Scarlet or Pokemon Violet, have you gotten one of them? Which one did you get? What are your thoughts on it? Who's on your team? What are your thoughts on the glitches? And do you think they're gonna be fixed eventually? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!